and then I'll foam it, and then I'll put another couple of layers just to seal the foam in.
What do you mean? You'll do it.
Sorry, this is Janet's project. I've been kicked out of the man shed.
No, you haven't been kicked out. You're just not going to do it. I'll end up doing it.
Janet was only saying about half an hour ago how she's really enjoying her she shed. And I've lost my man shed. I'm allowed in here just to spray up, and then I've got to nick off back to the boat. We're in panic mode. Looks like we've got a couple of guys to buy the mould. There's a group of guys that are intending to take the mould up to Newcastle, about 4 hours north of here. Maybe start producing it, maybe build their own, who knows. But what that means, we need to finish our last few moulds. We've got about 4 things we need to do. So we're in panic mode and we're cleaning up. We're moving the galley mould into the spray room and doing a complete rejig of the factory. I've got Janet up here cleaning up. Now this wet room here needs to be spotless before I can start spraying any gel coat. And this guy here has got to get a good clean up and a good wax. Last couple of coats of release wax, and then I'm ready to spray. So I'll be servicing the gun this afternoon. I've got a bit of a catalyst leak and I want to make sure that that's spot on before I start spraying again. So lots happening in here and it's a mess. So what's the plan, Jan?
Yeah, well, so that we're ready tomorrow for the spray up, or for us to do the spray up, I'm just going to vacuum that off because I've already polished it and whatever, and put some release wax on, buff it off, put some more release wax on, and leave it for tomorrow morning for us to take off to gel coat. And then these are just some smaller moulds that have been inside, so they're still pretty good. So Ross reckons that if I just vacuum and clean them up, and then put the release wax on, I just need to get this stuff off, then we don't need to polish it, which is brilliant.
And what are they?
I think this is the top of the bathroom.
Yep.
That one's... Ooh.
That's got a window.
Oh, that's the
out.
side. That's in the bedroom?
No, it's in the head.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's inside the bathroom, I think.
Okay.
These are all bathrooms, I think. Well, that one's definitely in the port side head. Yeah. So that's the gap between the toilet there and the shower.
Yeah. These
are the internal linings for the head. And then that one there, I'm really not sure, but Janet seems to think that...
I had a good idea. I forgot what it was.
I'm sure it's a secondary panel in the starboard head, but we won't know until we cut it out. I'm hoping that's what it is.
It's that little part of the starboard head.
I think that's what it is. Right, so you're going to clean them up, and hopefully, what are we going to try to do?
Engage brain, so I remember things.
We're going to try and spray them all up at once, aren't we?
Tomorrow, yeah.
It's going to be
that one, then bring them in after a break and do these. Or with the gun, so then it can clean the gun out and we can go straight to resin.
Yeah, cool. Now, why we're panicking, well, we're not panicking, but we're trying to get them all done because we've got a potential buyer for the mould, and he's pretty keen, and that means we've got to try and finish all of these, or we're going to have to ship all this stuff when we're finished making them, and we want to try and get them all done and get them out of here so that we've got some space back, and it'll be so exciting if he can take everything at once.
And he is excited.
And he's excited. They're very excited, the boys. They are very excited, very excited. Good to see some young blokes pulling their fingers out.
Hopefully it's going to a good home.
Yeah. All right. Right. So I've had a bit of a problem. I've been losing a bit of catalyst and haven't quite been getting ideal catalyzing of my resins and the like, but I've just discovered why. I've just pulled this pump apart. This actually runs up inside this bush here. You can see how loose, look how loose that is. That's got to be screwed all the way in, and that's one of the main reasons why you need to tear down a system like this periodically, just to make sure that everything is tight and in place, and that is the reason why I haven't been getting that ideal reaction, and yeah, very glad I did that. because that could have easily come undone, and then I would have sprayed about 20 litres of gel coat tomorrow and had no catalyst. And that would have been a mess. Anyway, that's the problem, so back to it. Doing a great job, honey. Such fun work, isn't it, when you got a bad back, bad shoulders?
Don't remind me.
Looking good. While Janet's cracking on with that, I'm breaking down my gun here and servicing it up, because you just got to spend the time and really be meticulous and soak stuff and clean it all out, or you're just going to have problems long term. So better off doing it now than having it break down on your mid spray up. Now that looks pretty good, Darwin. Wow, look at that. Don't you just love polishing? Don't you?
I do, it's actually very satisfying.
Oh yeah, it is. Satisfaction 100%, 110%. My favourite saying.
If we get a good galley out of it, it'll be worth it.
Well, that's going to be up to you. All I'm going to do is spray the gel coat. The rest is yours.
You're going to learn to cook. More than 3 dishes. Janet's
going to learn to laminate, and I'm going to learn to cook. That's the trade-off, or the price I've got to pay. It's like you've got to pay the price of grief for love. I think that's...
So you can cook. You just have a very limited repertoire, and you need to expand it.
Yep.
So as Janet finishes off that final waxing, I remembered I had a couple of small jobs I could do up on the boat. Now, there isn't many times where you can actually say you've got nothing to do when you build a boat. So I raced up, mixed up a batch of vinyl ester and some Cavasil, a very thin liquid that was just able to then settle in the very small gap in between the foam and the deck and the sugar scoop that I'd left after sanding. I'll basically be returning to this in a day or so after I go down and deal with the actual galley mould.
So a little bit of peel ply along here will keep it nice and level. Now it's still going to have to be sanded and prepared. The nice thing is it's going to be level enough for me to just come in and give it a quick sand, and then I can laminate straight over the top. And basically I'm going to laminate all the way back to about here and tie that foam in, and that's now got that sort of reasonably level and looking pretty much like it was integrated correctly. So by using the peel ply, I'm able to just keep it contaminant free while it goes off over the next day or so. I'm going to give it 2 days before I come back and give that a good sand all over. I'm not going to seal the top of the foam because that's going to be laminated with vinyl ester and 2 layers of 600 double bias just to finish it off, and that's going to be really nice. It's going to look so good having these joined together. Epic day ahead. We were going to just spray up the galley, which is here, and I'll just show you this mould. Now this mould sat in a paddock for over 10 years, just sun beating down, you know, out in the weather, all manner of conditions hitting it. And Janet, in her spare time, has rejuvenated this thing back to almost perfect. I mean, it's going to be a perfect mold for us. It's going to bring out a really nice product. The luster on this is simply incredible. What you can do with good quality tooling gel coat. Now, tooling gel coat is not like the stuff they make the outside of your boat with. It's what they use to make molds, and it's incredibly heat tolerant and obviously very, very durable in the long run. Although you may end up with little pits and damage and everything, easily repaired with tooling gel coat, and very, very good to be able to get that luster back required for taking parts off it. Now, I've also got one of the bathroom molds here. Now, what I've decided to do is, while the gun's running hot, with white gel coat, I'm going to try to spray up all these molds. It's going to get a bit messy, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 8 molds to do, and I'm going to do them all, and then we're just going to have a massive week of laminating, trying to keep within the chemistry. So we're going to basically go from the galley to one of the roof molds to the next roof mold, and so on and so forth, until we get all them tie layered, and then just continue through the laminating schedule with the resin in the gun, so that I can continue to keep spraying and not have to do a separate clean out. Because every time I switch from gel coat to vinyl ester or polyester, I have to do a complete tear down or a complete clean down and maintenance schedule on the gun. This way I only have to do it once, a clean between the gel coat, and this will all be polyester, and then I'll end up with a very consistent thing. It'll save me about half a day of effort. I like to really do a good job on cleaning the gun. So that's my thinking. And even this mould here, this one here didn't take a lot of restore because it's been sitting inside the factory, and in fact was undercover the whole time. But yeah, lesson to us all, don't leave them out in the paddock, but don't panic if you do. If you come across a set of good moulds that's been sat out in the paddock, have a good look at it. If it hasn't got too many dings and scrapes, no reason why you can't restore it. Gel coat loves to be restored. It loves to be polished, wet sanded and polished, and then obviously final through to the sealer glaze and basically at your final waxes. So that's had 2 waxes. That is now ready for spraying. Now these guys over here, this is the other 3 that I have to complete up in there. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that, because once I spray up those 2, we're going to be moving them in and hopefully moving them out, and I'm going to be covered in gel coat probably. So these ones here, I'll wait till Janet gets up here in a moment. She can rub them off and get those ones cleaned off. They've got their final coat of wax sitting on them now. We leave them overnight with the wax on them, and then we buff it off, ready for the laminating or for the gel coating straight after it's been wiped off. So I'm about 15 minutes away from getting these guys on the go. Happy to report this is our last major spray up. I've got to do a lot of little ones, the smaller hatches and everything that Janet's going to make. Still got to gel coat them up, but the last time we're going to do a major module inside our spray room. The next spray up's all going to be up on the boat, so it's going to be a lot of prep. And got the boss here. She's got her plastic boots on. She's ready to go, aren't you? Almost ready. Let's go. Going undercover. Leave undercover.
And we're off. Quite exciting to be the last of them all. Sorry about the noise.
Well done. No, that's good. It's good to have that help. That was fantastic. Oh, no, that's our last big one. Oh, hey, we're going to celebrate that. Woo! The last big one, thank God. How you feeling after yesterday?
Yeah, good.
Good, yeah, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Got your list?
I have.
Got your cutting list?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good having someone that can work out the dimensions, because this one's pretty complicated. We're going to have to do the back side first because of reach, and I've set myself up a little table back here so I can stand on it and hopefully be able to reach over and get that laminating done. But yeah, it's got a very complicated shape, this one, and a little bit worried about how it's going to demold. But I think it's going to demold up on this 45-degree chamfer here, but we'll see how it goes. Could be interesting, could be a bit of a wrestle. My incredibly capable assistant has done a runner. I think, yeah, this morning was a bit much. We did two tie layers on this, two 300 CSM layers. I've actually come in the Savo, and I've now added a 600 double bias layer. And the great thing about that is if you do a really good job with your tie layer, you can just sort of stick this stuff on. Pretty sticky, but what you end up doing is by putting it on like this, you're actually putting it on and eliminating 90% of your bubbles before you even start laminating. And that's when you're working on your own, you develop these little techniques that certainly do assist. You can see here I've got areas here. Very importantly though is as I spray this up, I'm going to actually wet underneath and then laminate that on. And we're always working with that 50mm join. We don't want to have butt joins. We certainly don't want to have it joining from there to there, because that'll cause some weakness or some shear points in the module. Now remembering this is actually a galley module, and being a galley module, there's going to be a lot of it's going to get cut out. Pretty much probably half of it's going to get cut out and have cupboards, drawers, ovens, and certainly the whole top. Whether I leave that on there, who knows? I mean, we're going to have a Corian top on that. We may actually leave it and screw it to the physical Corian top or glue it down. So yeah, I'm ready to do it. And the other thing I'm going to do all this part, but then I'm going to put a double layer of the 600 on this kick, because this kickboard here is very, very important. It's an area that's going to cop a lot of knocks, and I do want that to be nice and solid. And we're hoping to have this part here actually carry an LED light so that there'll be backlit lighting underneath the module. But yeah, I'm pretty much ready to go. It's and over here, once I get it all on there, I'm going to actually put some strips around here, then a final layer of CSM on it, and that's going to be the module. That's all it needs to be. That way it's nice and light, and then it's going to be glassed in with a whole lot of reinforcement, and certainly all the cupboards and cabinetry in underneath.